Now, I know what you're thinking. I've taken away all of your fun. We created the virtual machine, but we didn't connect to it. Well, that's what we're going to do now, and we're going to do it the clever way. A clever way, you say? I do like the sound of that. Yes, the clever way. So I'm back working on my Ubuntu system, and I'm going to run the command versh, and we can interrogate the systems that we have. So if I go through and look at DOM-IF, and I can hit tab completion here, so the DOM-IF address of my virtual machine, which was called Rocky 9. I can see the name of the interface, the MAC address, but importantly, the IP version 4 IP address. So this is going to allow me then to connect into the system, and I can connect via SSH. So working at my Ubuntu command line, I can use the SSH client to connect as Tux. I would by default connect as Tux anyway, but it's always worth putting it in. But Tux at, and then the IP address that we just grabbed. But don't worry about the subnet mask at the end. I need to accept the public key of the remote system the first time that I connect, and of course then enter the password. With that done, I've connected through to the system, and we can verify that we are in fact on Rocky Linux by looking at hostname CTL. And then as we take a look at the output, we can see that it is in fact Rocky Linux 9.5, but we don't have a hostname set. So I can configure that with the hostname CTL command, but I need to elevate my privileges. So hostname CTL. And I can use tab completion here. And I can see that I've got an option hostname. And I can go through and set it to Rocky. The first time we run sudo, we might be prompted with this warning. But I can go through and put my password in. And I will have configured the hostname now. It won't show in my current prompt because that's the shell that I'm currently in. So let me exit out and then go back in using my SSH client. I'm not prompted for the public key now because I've already accepted that. But you can see Rocky now in my prompt. And if we go through and take a look at our host name CTL command, as we take a look at the output now, of course, we've got our host name set. But also the virtualization is KVM. The hardware vendor is QEMU. It's the QEMU side of things that is emulating our hardware. So KVM is our virtualization. QEMU represents our hardware. We're also running a slightly earlier version of the kernel, 5 rather than 6. But that's generally to do that enterprise software usually uses the mature kernel rather than the latest and greatest. But if we exit and compare the output through to what we see within hostname CTL on our Ubuntu system, and of course the virtualization is VMware, but also the hardware vendor, they're providing the drivers for emulation. The kernel as well, we can see, is 6.8, so the newer kernel, but won't be as mature as the kernel in Enterprise Linux.